Okay, so another day with the Squiggle. Today is the Squiggle Day. I've never built this before. This is a table that Jose built. So it was me and another gentleman named Jose Caballero that was doing work and still continues to do work for some interior designers, local guys. They have a line of furniture. So he did half of the stuff and I did the other half. This was one of his products that he did. So I've never done this before. When I first started working for this company some 30 years ago, they had a situation with their guy that they were using at the time, hard time getting product from him. So I came in. Part of the thing that I liked so much about working for them was figuring out how he made the stuff that he made. So this is just basically a continuation. I mean, it's not rocket science, really, it's just furniture. So I can pretty much make anything because metal's my bitch. And this is just another example of that. So what I had to do on this particular one is they didn't really have any dimensions as far as the curves and stuff go and how the squiggle was made. So I took it to, they sent me a PDF with some rough dimensions on it. I took it to the local printer and had it blown up to actual size. So what I did is now I've cut out that piece. So what it is, I had it printed out actual size. I had a couple of them made. So I cut it out. I'm making a little, drawing here on the table. I'll pull this paper off. If I was making these, and if it was one of my products, I would have a jig for it, but it's not, and I don't. I made this little deal here to bend it. I'm gonna have to heat and bend. The other issue that I have, this shaft is TGP. It stands for turned, ground, and polished. There's all kinds of different shafts you can buy. Regular hot roll shaft, which is what this is, comes with a scale on it. It's just round material. This end was turned off. Then there's cold roll, which is what this is. It's better, obviously, than this. And then the next step up is the TGP. The thing with this stuff is, it's a smoother finish. Even on the cold roll stuff, there'll be like little microscopic pinholes that you have to work out. This TGP won't have that. The reason I bring that up is this piece, their finishes that they do are like crazy finishes. This particular one on the shaft is going to be copper plated. So you have to polish it before you bend it to cut down on the amount of polishing you have to do after it's bent, right? Because it's going to be twisted. It's a lot easier to polish the shaft prior to bending. Another thing I learned yesterday when I called is on this base here. If I was going to send this base off to powder coat, it's plenty smooth for that because powder coat's pretty forgiving and it's pretty thick. So this little slight like grind marks you can see in there. I don't know if you catch the reflection, but there's some grind marks in there. Those gotta go. It's gonna be copper plated with a red candy powder coat over the top. The copper that they're using isn't like regular copper that you'd see like on a copper plated piece. It's all shiny. They use acid copper, which is what they use for bumpers. When they're plating bumpers, they need to get rid of some of the smaller imperfections. They coat it in copper, and copper's more or less the primer, if you will, to get the surface super smooth and nice. It's thicker, it goes on easier, but when you leave it alone, it oxidizes really cool. So when they pull it out and it drips, it runs or streaks and all kinds of cool shit, they just leave it like that. It comes out and it looks kind of penny color, but it's definitely streaky right off the bat. The longer you let it sit, the darker and richer it gets. It gets like a darker, it doesn't really, I guess eventually it would turn green, but it gets a darker, like browns and oranges, and you get some purple streaks in it. It's actually pretty cool. So I'm not sure what they're gonna do on the shaft, but I hope to get a picture of it on this video. I'm not sure how long it's gonna take them to get it plated and finished, but if I do finally get it, maybe I'll add a little comment or something. I don't know how that works. This is my first YouTube video, so I'm learning. So right now I'm just gonna polish, and then after that we'll do some bending. Okay, so I'm gonna start heating and bending this. I went ahead and drilled, I faced it, tapped a 5/16 coarse thread hole for when it bolts in here. Let's do it. Okay, there's a few truths in my life. One of them is, no matter what line I get in, no matter how many people are in it, mine's always the slowest. And another one is, no matter how many times I use the torch, it always seems like you run out of oxygen at the very beginning and have to go get it. That's the situation. So, let's try it again. Getting away from me a little bit. I'm going to let it cool off and oh shit, dude, actually not bad. Huh, okay, it's coming around. I gotta clean this up, this inside edge here. I gotta look and see what's happening there. I think I'll be able to use it, but it's just, It's a little tight on the inside. I kind of did a little kink thing, so I'm gonna clean it up, take a look at it, and then finish this thing up. Okay, so it's done, kind of. I'm going to let it cool a little bit and give this a little more kick. Other than that, it lines up with the lines pretty good. It doesn't quite sit perfectly flat. I don't know if it's the table or what. I'm gonna move it around after it cools off. So yeah, you can see, you can't see the line, and you see the line, so it's pretty damn good. Close enough for furniture. So let that cool off, and then I gotta clean it all up and buff it again, so I'll get back to you. So I don't know why they even polished this before. I don't know how Jose bends it. I can't imagine bending it cold. So obviously I'm gonna have to clean all this up. This divot here, I'm gonna have to fill all these little divots. I don't know what these look like. So I'm gonna run, I went and bought some 1-inch buffies, because this is 1-inch radius. So, I don't know, I'm gonna clean it up and then see what I got. I'm gonna have to do some welding and some grinding and pimping. Hey. So I'll start by cleaning it up so I can see what the damage is. So you can see there's like a little flat spot here. It can't be. So I'm going to try to fill in some of these lower spots so I can file a lot of that out. Same thing here. Got to try to build that up, grind it out. These I can file out. This I got to fill. There's a couple little dings and stuff I can pretty much file out. So let's do it. good. Just gonna have to come back and do a lot more cleaning. Got this graininess from the wheel, but overall I'm pretty happy. It's gonna take probably another hour of just messing with it, trying to get it smooth enough to be good enough. So that polishing for the first go around was a waste of time. I won't be doing that again. So if you notice, I don't try not to go back and forth, right? So every time you stop, it's twice as long in that one spot, and you end up with little low spots. So you can just kind of bring it in either direction while it's moving. You have less opportunity to have a divot. It's almost like spray painting, you know. You don't stop and go back because you get a run there. Basically the same idea. Just try to keep it as flat as you can. So I'm done with that part. Now I'm just going to buff it up. I got another wheel, a Scotch-Brite wheel. This has a flapper and a Scotch-Brite. It just doesn't happen to be here at this particular time. I'm gonna go get it and finish this thing up. Okay, so these flapper wheels that I bought, they're 1 inch diameter, which is what this is bent on. They're leaving a little bit more grit in there than I like. These is like half sandpaper, half Scotch-Brite. They're more like for buffing instead of like smoothing. So this is smooth and I'm happy with the way it turned out. So now I'm just cleaning it up. What I'll probably do is just do all the big surfaces that I can get to. And then if I have to, I'll just take a sander to this thing and get it down to fit inside those little curves if I need to. We'll see. Okay, so it has to be smoother for the finish. This is how I typically finish 50 grit, 5-inch grinder, or a 7-inch with the 80 grit DA. When it has to be smoother, I have a Velcro back with 80 grit. This is for like a buffer polisher. It works really good because it's flat, one, and two, it doesn't have this in the middle. So when you're grinding and you want something super flat, it's easier with this because you can get it flatter without this or the head of this getting into your product. So, I'm gonna give it a quick once over. Sharp discs and sharp paper cut better and smoother. So don't skimp on the grinding disc sandpaper. Okay, so when you go slow like that, it makes a different pattern so you can see the grind marks underneath. So it shows up, it shows the grind marks when you go really slow like that and smooth like that. So this is pretty good. I'm just gonna go over it real quick with a 80 grit and it should be ready to go. Okay, so I cut this off with a cutoff wheel. I went down and tried to get it in the mill, but there's just too much vibration and movement for that to work. So I'm just gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way and grind it. It's a weird angle, and so I just gotta get it level with the table. I got a ways to go. It's beautiful and it's flat, but it's a ½ inch too high and it's got to be centered up. So I literally got to take a ton off this thing. I got to cut like a ½ inch off this thing. I was thinking the mill would be the way to go, but no, it's not. And it's such a weird angle, I mean, really, there's nothing I can do but just grind it. But I'm not doing it with that. Okay, that's good there. Going with that. It's it is 16 high. So I can deal with that. I can grind some off the bottom so it goes down. But that is that. So now I need to make a disc. It's 3.5, maybe 4 inches. Need a 4-inch round disc. That's next. So here's pretty much the finished product that the customer gets. So there's a top that goes on there. It's an oval shaped top. They have some guy that does printing, like prints on glass and does some stuff with photos. He blows it way up, makes it look like something obscure. It's pretty cool. This one's gonna get an oval top on it. They usually get round. If you look at the picture I provided. So hold on a second. Let's grab a piece. This is a little thicker than what they would run, and it's square, but it'll give you an idea. So that's kind of it. It's a Squiggle occasional table, and hopefully it'll be finished by the time I post this video and I can post a picture of it.
Why don't I push
No,
it
that's
back a
good.
little?
It's good.
Are you sure?
Yeah. So that's what it looks like, everybody.
That's what it looks like.
All right, that's it. This is a picture of the final product that the designer sent me. Hope you enjoyed the video. I know it was a little rough around the edges. Hope to get better. If you like the video, subscribe, and check me out at It's a Metal Thing on Instagram. Thanks for watching.